What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here to talk about the National. I know. It's all everyone's been talking about. National this, National that. Oh my God, this, that, the other thing. I want to take a little bit different approach and discuss how the National could be better. National, fantastic event. They do a great job with it, but it's still got that old school mentality, old school vibe. I think there are ways that we can level this show up and move it into a more modern era. Some of the things that we're going to talk about, I am not the first person to speak into existence. I'm sure other people have had these ideas. Some of them I just recently heard on some other YouTube channels. So it's not like I'm trying to reinvent the wheel here. But I just kind of wanted to put some things out into the ether in regards to how I think this show could kind of level itself up to be even better than it already is. Like, comment, subscribe, all the jazz down below. We already know the location next year, Chicago. Fantastic location. That's what we're going to start off with. Listen, Atlantic City jokes aside, let's never have the convention there again. The show should be in an essentially located location that is easy to get into and maybe has some appeal for families to travel to. If I'm a dad with a son and a daughter that wants to go to the National, it's a lot easier to pitch that as a trip if it can be combined into something else. For example, if it was in Orlando, hey, let's go to the National for a day or two, and we can hit Star Wars land. We can hit Disney for a day. Make it a little combo trip, makes it a little bit easier to justify the expense, might get more people at the show. But the real thing is put it in a city that is easy to travel in and out of. That's the beautiful thing about Chicago. It's right next to the airport. You know, O'Hare Airport has 1 billion flights a day. Tons of great hotels. That's the other thing. Have everyone as centrally located as possible. Whatever convention center you pick, have it be with an abundance of hotels around it. That, to me, was my biggest takeaway from the Atlantic City National. I just felt like I missed out on stuff with everyone being so spread out. And you might say it's only a 5 or 10 minute Uber ride to this, that, or the other thing. But when you're in the moment, that just feels like an eternity or an extra hassle versus just walking to the next hotel down the way. I know the West Coast people are going to say bring this thing back to the West Coast. We'll see if that ever happens. The National has a strong East Coast bias. The rumor is, not rumor, it's in Chicago next year. The rumor after that is Cleveland or Chicago the year after that. If it's Chicago, then it would be Cleveland. So it would be Chicago, then either Chicago, Cleveland, or Cleveland unknown. But it's going to stay in the Midwest for at least the next 2 or 3 shows. After that, it sounds like it's going to open up. There's a new committee taking over for the National. I've seen Nashville floated around. I think that would be, I don't know their convention center very well. I've only been to the city once, but that would be a fantastic location. I feel like to have a show like this. Orlando would be a great location for reasons we've already discussed. If you're going to throw out West Coast, I think Vegas makes the most sense. It's easy to get to. Everyone likes going there for a weekend compared to like Atlantic City. Everyone's, could be, the hotel systems there are a lot better. Everyone's close together, lots of stuff to do, et cetera, et cetera. But plenty of good cities to have it in. Please don't have it in Atlantic City anymore. The show itself, please make sure that there's viable internet, that you should not have to pay for it either. $80 a day for Wi-Fi is crazy. If cellular service is not going to work, in Chicago, just regular cellular service worked. It was not a problem. I had no issues last year. If cellular service is not going to work, there should be fast, reliable Wi-Fi as part of the convention center package. That should be a non-negotiable if someone wants to have this show in their building. That's a no-brainer. Let's talk about kind of taking this thing to the next level. And this is something that, once again, other people have probably pontificated this. I most recently heard, I believe it was Josh from Cardboard Chronicles discussing this on the crossover show that the Card Ladder guys do this past weekend. The National should have an app. There should be an interactive app for the National. It's a no-brainer. It should have the facility map on it. Every dealer table, it should be interactive. I should be able to flag a dealer table on the app. If I pull up the app and it shows me the floor map, I should be able to pinch and zoom, and I should be able to highlight a table to flag it as like a favorite or whatever, to make a mental note that, hey, I looked at a card and it was at this table. I should be able to flag that. Maybe even a note system to say like, cool, I'm flagging this. This is the reason why I'm flagging it. Luca PSA 10 blue, whatever. That should 100% be there. In addition to that, when I touch a table on the app, it should pull up all that table's information. Now, would it be great to have dealer inventory on there? Yes, I think that's pie in the sky. But I think at minimum, it should have the dealer name, maybe their Instagram, their YouTube page, their email address, whatever they want to put on there for contact information. That should all be on there when I touch the little square on the app. There should be a schedule of events. We'll talk about that in a minute. Corporate booths. Who has the freebies? What time do they all start? Who's dropping what? This is all stuff that's available on the national website, or you can find it through the different various companies, but it would be nice to have it just all in one place that you could drive everybody to. Pull up the app. Here's when 0 cool Stranger Things drops are. Here's where you go spin the big wheel to win this, that, or the other thing. Here's the box battles of the day at Panini. Here's the menu for things to buy to get silver packs. Here's the menu for the main stage. Here's where the different grading companies are and the services that they're offering. All that should be on there. Make it simple, make it accessible, make it easy. The biggest thing, though, to me, is an interactive floor map that I can flag where a table is. Maybe even put a note and have the dealer contact information in there. Would some type of featured card list or something like that be fantastic? Sure, but let's not get crazy. I don't want to get too out into the weeds here. I'd like to keep this at least semi-realistic, and I think at least having an interactive app with a map on it, being able to flag stuff, would be fantastic. Let's talk about the main stage. There is a main stage. There is shows / programming / panels. They do an okay job with it. I don't think they do enough with it. This is the National. This is the main event of the year. This should be an opportunity for each of the major companies to come out and give like a State of the Union, have someone up there running a panel. If they don't want to take questions directly, have people pre-submit questions and have users vote on them. The top 5 questions that go to the top get answered on the panel. Hey, PSA, why do you have declared value? What is it? What are we actually paying for with declared value? Panini, how do you manage print run demand versus exploding print runs on product? Panini, and Topps, how do you handle the fact that, COVID has made everything late, supply chains, this, that, and the other thing? What is your plan to get back on track? Grading company, whatever. What's your plans for prices going forward? Now, are they going to give you straight answers on everything? I don't know. But to me, this should be an opportunity where these heavy hitter companies come out and kind of give a State of the Union on whatever it is that company does to whoever wants to attend that. It should be on the main stage. It should be well advertised, well promoted. I know they do some of this stuff now. Topps has an industry event, but it's off show floor. It's after hours. It's restricted on how many people can get in. But there should be a whole day. Run each major manufacturer up there. Run each grading company up there. They should be fighting for space on that stage to get up there to promote whatever it is they want to promote, but also to get in front of their customers and address them directly on whatever questions and concerns that they might have. I think that would be massive. SGC should be up there with Peter answering questions or just like walking through, hey, we rolled out the RCR. This is our thought process behind it. People can then start to put names with faces with these companies. SGC's done a really good job of that with having Peter out there doing interviews. You're seeing CSG do some of that. PSA kind of starting to, maybe Beckett, maybe kind of starting to as well. Fanatics, you know, they have Luber out there doing some stuff every once in a while. PSA had Nat Turner on some Jeff Wilson videos and stuff like that. But there should be panels like that for these companies to address the people. There should be other panels as well, whether it's with content creators, live shows. And I know, once again, they do some of this now. I just don't think that they push it enough. You know, we're there for, you know, not everybody, but a lot of us are there for 3 or 4 days. It's nice to go sit down and chill for a half an hour and listen to a panel that might interest you. But I think they could do a better job at leveling up those streaming / panels / whatever. You know, I don't want to, like, to compare this to San Diego Comic-Con. You go there, that's like the main event. Marvel's busting out all their big announcements. DC's busting out all their big announcements. Why isn't there an SGC panel at the National where Peter comes out and says, yep, we hear you, $30 is too much. Here's our new pricing tier. We're announcing it right here, right now. $20 effective August 1st or whatever it ends up being. It could be the chance for these companies to come out and hold announcements, do these major things. Zero Cool comes out. Hey, Stranger Things is down there. That's our hot new thing. Here's a big preview of the thingamajigger or whatever. Here's the next thing that we're going to do. And then they can kind of control that message. And once again, I think there would be an opportunity there for, I understand why you wouldn't want to take questions directly from the audience, but pre-submitted questions. I think that could be a major thing. Trade nights. I think there should be a sponsored trade night every single night of the week. Ryan and Jimmy do a fantastic job with the trade night that they put on. There's no reason that should only be one night. You know, Ryan and Jimmy should be the Thursday, the first major night of the National. They're the OGs. They're the originals. There's no reason why the next night someone else shouldn't be sponsoring a massive trade night. There should be a trade night, an official trade night, every single night of the convention. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or at least Thursday, Friday, Saturday. At minimum, those 3 days, there should be a major trade night. And it should probably go later than what they typically do. Because then all everyone's going to do is just dump out of there into some random hotel lobby. So at least contain it there, keep it out of the hotel lobbies for the poor guests of these hotels. And I love the spontaneous trade nights, don't get me wrong. They're fantastic. It's some of the most fun that I had. But I don't see any reason why there is not an official trade night every night of the week beyond the official one that Ryan and Jimmy put on. You know, this is the first year it's technically official, tied in with the National. Prior to that, you know, it was always them kind of doing their own thing. This is the first year it was really tied in. So I would like to see that expand as well. Show floor setup, I don't really have much for that. I think they do a generally pretty good job about, like, you know, hey, the autograph pavilion's over here, corporate's in the middle. Maybe I'd like to see a little bit better of, hey, all the memorabilia people, we're putting you all over here next to TriStar and the autograph stuff. Hey, vintage heavy people, you're all going to go here. I don't even know that I need it that granular. I think it would be nice if all the memorabilia stuff was down by the autograph pavilion. Just to kind of, I don't want to say segregate that stuff off, but to just know if I get to like that end of the floor and I'm not interested in that stuff, I can just kind of like skip over the last 2 aisles. But I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. Ultimately, the show is about the cards and the dealers. That should be the important thing. But this is the National. I do think the corporate stuff should hold a presence, because this is for a lot of people, this is the one time a year they get to interact with that stuff. And let's be honest, a lot of people just like the free stuff. Hey, I'm going to come look at some cards. I want to go over and get a pack of Stranger Things cards. I want to go spin the wheel at the wild card booth, maybe win something. I want to go check out the Mickey Mantle PSA 10 at the collector's booth. All that stuff should still be there. And you could see the corporate side is really starting to spend on this convention. The corporate setup this year compared to last year was way leveled up. And I think you're going to continue to see that. These companies are going to start spending more and more and more on booths at the National to have a larger and larger show presence. It was really cool to see like Market Movers have a little booth. Kentucky Roadshow, Jimmy and his team, they had a booth like in the actual corporate pavilion. The Sports Card Nonsense guys, they had a little booth set up. I think that should expand even more. I think the people that have super hot like Card Collector 2 should probably have a booth on the edge of corporate. Like they should have an immaculate setup beyond just like a regular table setup. You watch his videos, he has a line a mile long. They should have a whole situation like corporate or corporate adjacent. Some of the other big dealers as well. I think there's probably ways to modernize the whole sports card booth. I'm just not smart enough to put that stuff in the air and don't understand that aspect of the business enough. But I think there's potential ways to kind of level up all that stuff as well. That's all I have. Curious for your thoughts and comments down below. What do you think they should do to make, whether it's the National or anything, Dallas Card Show, any of these tentpole shows, these destination shows, mostly the National, what are some things that you would like to see to kind of bring it into 2023? Let's modernize it, bring it up, step it up. What are some things that you would like to see in those various avenues? Maybe I touched on them, maybe I didn't. Let me know in the comments down below. Catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.